Good morning, friends. Welcome to Entrepreneur Extraordinaire. The reason you're seeing me like this is I just woke up in the morning. It's a very gloomy day, but I figured I'm gonna make a video on home equity or equity in general. Folks, even Gooby's gloomy today and he's never gloomy. Right, Gooby? It's okay. All right, so let's open the window. Let's see. So that's the view from the balcony. The sun's coming out. Let's go back in. Well, let's turn on my favorite coffee machine. Oh my God. Wow. I'm waking up. Important. So wake up. I'm gonna go work out in the gym. I'm gonna see you back at the studio. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Konnichiwa, ni hao, namaste, salam, privet, kef halik to all my friends all over the world. Welcome to Entrepreneur Extraordinaire. Thank you so much for joining us. It's such a pleasure to have you guys because you could be anywhere, but you chose to be here. I'm sorry about the morning routine. I was totally beat. I woke up and I promised myself I'm going to deliver a video today no matter what. Folks, I will have to tell you this, that getting up 5 in the morning never gets old. Not in a good way, it's always hard. So let's begin. Today the topic is equity, and we'll talk about what is equity. What is a line of credit? What is HELOC, home equity line of credit? What is refi and cash out? What documents do you need? Who gives you this home equity line of credit? How do you build equity in your house? If you can take away one thing from this video, it is this, that home equity or equity in general is a huge leverage. And there's a lot of things that the rich people don't want you to know. And here's why they don't want you to know, because they don't want you to get ahead of them, because you will not work for them. They don't want you to know any insider secrets on real estate and wealth building. So if that interests you, stick around to watch more. So when it comes to housing, there are two types of equity. One is HELOC, home equity line of credit, and number two is refi cash out. So let's start with what is HELOC, which is HELOC, also known as HELOC. HELOC is a revolving line of credit that you can take out, you can write personal checks for, and then pay back in a period of 7 to 10 years. So how do we know how to pull out a HELOC? How do we know how much equity do we have in our house? Let me give you an example. Equity in your house is simply nothing but the current value of your house and how much you owe to the bank. The difference in that value, the market current value, and then what you owe to the bank. That's your equity right there. So let's walk through an example so we can simplify the concept and cut out all the confusion and the big words that people use in real estate terms. So let's say you bought a house for $100,000, okay? $100,000. Let's say you put down $20,000. Now that $20,000 becomes instant equity because that's your money that you put down in the house. Now let's say the value of the house increased in a few years, let's say by $30,000. So how much equity do you have? Now you have the $20,000 you put in plus the increase in value, which is $30,000, and now your equity is $50,000. So what happens if your house value goes up to $50,000, $150,000? Now your equity is that $50,000 plus the $20,000 you put in, $70,000, and so on and so forth. And what's the beauty about this equity and why are we talking about it? It's not just simply that the equity can be used, but the equity is actually leverage and is tax-free money. It applies to your home residence, the primary residence, but also investment properties. If you have an investment property, a condo, a vacation home, and that has gone up in value, you can take that equity out as well. For cash out refinance, you basically take out the money and refinance your house. So let's say in this example, your house went up $30,000, the equity is $50,000. You can actually refinance your loan up to the 70% value of your house. That is the market value today. So let's say your market value is $150,000. You'll refinance the loan up to 70% of that value. So in cash out refinance, you actually go to a real closing. You go to a title agency, there's closing costs involved, there's closing paperwork. And what do you do at the end of the day is that the bank cuts you a check, a full check of let's say $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, however much money you want to cash out. And that's what cash out refi is. So equity, keep in mind, is a critical concept. And we're going to dive deeper into equity right about now in the next chapter. Now, why does the bank only allow you to take out 70%? Why not 80%? Why not 100%? Some banks go up to 80% as well, but most banks won't because Let's say if you falter in your loan and you can't pay your mortgage, or let's say the market value of your house goes down, as a lot of houses might in the next few months because of market correction, what happens to the bank? The bank will lose money. Now, what can you use the money for, right? You can use it to pay student loans. You can use it to, like I give you an example, you can pay materials, labor costs. You can use it for vacationing. You can use it for upgrade your kitchen. You can use it for your daughter's wedding. Whatever you want. It's tax-free money. Please understand that. Let me repeat that. Home equity line of credit and home equity in your house is tax-free money. And please don't let these real estate terms confuse you, okay? I'm here to simplify this for you. And if you have any questions, drop me a line or a comment. By the way, if you're liking the content, drop a note, drop a like, click on the notification, subscribe to the channel, because you want this free info that rich people are not telling you, and I'm telling you this information for free. Got it? Let's move on to the next chapter. So where do you find this home equity line of credit or cash out refi? Well, you can go talk to your current bank that you already have. That's one way to find it. Next, you can also go online. You can also look at these websites like lendingtree.com, like bankrate.com. Once you submit a request to lendingtree.com, you can have multiple banks compete to give you home equity line of credit. In the past 30 years or 40 years, rates have never been so low. So if you really have a big project that you want to do, or a big vacation or wedding or whatever you want to do, student loans you want to pay off. Student loans are at 7% interest rate usually. So 3% interest rate for home equity line of credit is a brilliant move that you can make to pay off your student loans. See, that's the power of line of credit. You can use 3% to pay off a 7% interest loan of something else. But the best place to find a home equity line of credit is the Federal Union, the credit unions. You can go to any credit union, Federal Credit Union, Navy Credit Union. There's several in your neighborhood or in your town. Talk to them. They have the lowest rate, the easiest terms, and they will give you the line of credit in no time. So every bank has different requirements for line of credit or for cash out refi. Excuse me. But in general, most banks require 2 years of pay stubs, 2 years of W-2s, okay, or 1099. They will require bank statements. They will require mortgage statements. They will require to make sure you have insurance, not just hazard insurance, but also flood insurance for your property. Last but not least, they will also require a home appraisal, okay? And usually this appraisal is not a full-blown appraisal where they go and check your gutters and this and that. It's more like a drive-by appraisal is what they call it. So that's what you're really paying for, okay? And they will charge you $400 or $500 to do the appraisal. How long are these loans? How long can you get a line of credit for? Do you have to pay it in 30 days, 30 months, 30 years? It's different. It's usually 7 to 10 years, but it could be 5 years to 30 years. So think about that for a second. What does that mean? Let's say you pulled out $40,000 for some construction project or whatever. You're paying that amount over 10 years, and that becomes a few $100s a month of payment. And that is very manageable. And that's what I mean by leverage, folks. Leverage is money. Leverage is wealth. Leverage is putting you ahead of everybody else. So how do you know the equity of your house? So that is done through appraisal, but you can also do your own market research. You can go to Zillow.com, you can go to Redfin.com, you can go to Trulia.com and go plug in your house and just get a feel for the neighborhood. Look at that nearby houses and see what house sold for what, okay? That will give you an idea of how much your house in general is going to sell for. But there's also a website that I'm going to share with you. It's called connectucu.org. You can see the URL I'm displaying on the screen, and this is your equity line of credit calculator. Okay, this is an excellent calculator, and let me show you some examples so you can see some values that you can calculate for your home equity line of credit. Knowledge is the new currency, folks. Knowledge is power. If you have knowledge, if you know how much your house equity is, you can actually tell the bank and educate the bank. And sometimes the appraisal comes as lower than what you expect, and you can fight that appraisal. So be ready for that. If you think you have 50,000 equity and the bank only wants to give you 30,000, you have to provide proof and example of sales in your neighborhood to get a higher line of credit. So there are some rules around equity line of credit or cash out refi. You must have at least 20% or more equity in your house. Your income to debit ratio, debit to income ratio cannot be more than 40% or so, or sometimes 50%. It depends on the bank, but just keep in mind, you cannot have like hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt and also go and get a home equity line of credit. It has to balance out because again, the bank wants to know, can you pay that money back? Do you have enough cash coming in minus your expenses that you can pay that money back? Now, here's a tip for you guys. When you submit an application for line of credit, you can also include other assets, not just your income, not just your income and expenses from your payment or a job or a 1099. You can also include jewelry. Okay, if you have a boat, if you have a motorcycle, bike, whatever, add everything, watches, put that number in there. If you have real assets, then why not show them, right? Show them what assets you have. The last point is that the home equity line of credit, which is very important to know, the HELOC could be variable or could be fixed. I would personally be okay with variable, but most people want a fixed rate. The fixed rate might be higher. Variable rates are cheaper. In this market, the rates are so low that in the next 4 or 5 years, I don't really see them going higher. By the way, those who don't know what a variable rate is versus a fixed rate is just your rate stays the same as 3% all through the 5-10 years, the life of the loan, okay? Variable rate can change when the market changes, and variable rates could be up to 5 years, 7 years, and so on and so forth. That means after that 5 years, the rate will change, or after that 7 years, the rate may change. I will end the video here. I hope this information was useful for you. Folks, I do want to say something to you guys. There's a lot of folks on the internet that I'm seeing that don't have any knowledge, okay? That just go online, Google some research, and then just put content out there. Please be careful. Learn from someone who's already been there, done that, okay? Learn from someone who already has taken out line of credit and home or own properties. So I hope you found this information useful. I hope you like the channel. I hope you like and subscribe to the channel. I want to bring you more and more content. And also, one more thing. I do not go and watch these Graham Stefan and Meet Kevin on all these channels. I don't really buy their content. They're selling things for a purpose. They're sponsored by their companies and so on and so forth. I go and do my own research. I talk to the banks. I talk to the brokers. So I go and form my own views. I don't go and look at these people who are telling me the market's going up or down or this and that's going to happen. Here's the truth. Nobody knows where the market's going to go. If they knew where the market's going to be, they would not be on YouTube. They would be multi-billionaires. Nobody can predict the market. But even a monkey can tell you that rates will only go higher. Why? Because they've been the lowest in past 30, 40 years. Going back to my channel, I appreciate you guys. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching my channel. Please come back for more content. I love you all. And we'll see you in the next video, okay? And make sure to wake up early in the morning because there are benefits to that, okay? Bye.